Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SavvyCast. This is Jamie. I'm grateful for all of you who are joining, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast. I am delighted to have a very special guest today, and I met her through my involvement with Great American Community. She is a veteran in the television industry. She's an executive producer and has had many fascinating jobs. Her career is very colorful and exciting, and I could not be more pleased to welcome to the SavvyCast, Laura Pierson. Laura, thank you so much for being on the SavvyCast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and chit chat with you.
Well, Laura, I am so happy to have you, and I want to just start with the icebreaker question that I ask everyone. What would you choose as your last meal?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because I actually know the answer to this, but it's twofold. First, I would probably say In-N-Out Burger. Being an LA born and raised girl, In-N-Out Burger is my jam. The other thing is I love a bagel with lox and cream cheese and capers.
Oh my goodness. That's so interesting. I have never had either of those.
I'm wait, you've never had either of these?
I have never. We don't have In-N-Out Burger here. It's
okay. You need to come to LA right when you exit LAX airport. There's an In-N-Out Burger. Literally, you could smell it from LAX. We're going to In-N-Out Burger.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. So for those who know In-N-Out and know all the things on the menu, what's your favorite?
Oh gosh, I always do a cheeseburger with onions, animal style fries, but no cheese on the animal style fries.
Okay, what are animal style fries?
Animal style fries, first of all, their French fries are so good. They put cheese on them, which I take off, grilled onions, and their special secret sauce, which I think is just Thousand Island, but I just think it's so fancy to say special secret sauce.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, when I go to LA, I will meet up with you and we'll get an In-N-Out Burger.
Perfect.
Well, Laura, there is so much to talk about with your fabulous life, all the things you've accomplished, all the things you've done. So I want to jump right in, and let's just start with what you're doing now, or one of the things that you're doing now as executive producer of Great American Community. Can you that's how we met. So just jump right in, and then we're going to delve into all of the things that you've done in your television career.
Well, Great American Community, really, Bill Abbott, who is the CEO of Great American Family, came up with this brilliant idea that is really missing from our world in general, and that's a community. Yes, we have social media, but with social media, there's millions, billions of people. It's not a community. So he wanted to create a community where like-minded, positivity, family-friendly television and content can all be in one place. So Great American Community, it's an app. It's on the web, as well as now it's on smart TVs as well, which is very exciting. But we have 16 community members, which of course you are one of them. We have Danica McKellar and Cameron Matheson and Jill Wagner and Debbie Manopoulos, and everybody comes in with a different skill set. And it's a place that's really a community. And I think that we started to find that on social media before it became too saturated. So Great American Community is really a place for the viewers to come and feel part of everyone's everyday lives. So there's exclusive content that won't be found anywhere else. Like, for example, Jill Wagner is a very private person, and she gave a tour of her home. She gave a tour of her kitchen that you will not find anywhere else. We also have the commenting section where viewers are able to comment and interact with their favorite lifestyle experts like you, and then their favorite Great American Family stars like Jill Wagner and Cameron Matheson, and getting exclusive content. Something else that I love about the community is this planner that we've put together. So every month we're putting together a monthly planner, and with that monthly planner we have a checklist of things to do. I think right now everybody's in the present moment. Okay, this is what I got to do now. Today I have my checklist. This is my to-do. But what about things that we need to do a month from now? or 2 months from now to stay prepared. Christmas comes up so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to get teacher gifts, or oh no, I forgot to get this person a gift, or oh my gosh, I haven't even ordered the turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So on Great American Community, we have a checklist where 2 months out, order your Christmas turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is when you should start to book your flights.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else that I really love about the community.
Well, I have been partaking of all of the other people on the app, and I absolutely love it. And it's not just a place, it's a resource. Zane and I were traveling over the weekend, and we could not, there was not a church nearby. So we logged on to Father Maddox.
Yeah, Father Randy. Yeah.
Father Randy. And we watched all of his segments, and oh my goodness, it was fabulous. And that was a resource, and and then the calendar. And I just think the app is wonderful. It's going to continue to grow. And my question is, as one of the producers, what are some of your specific roles with the GAC community app? I know that you probably know a lot of the stars, if not all of them, because of all of your previous work.
So Tracy Verna, Michael Hinckley, and I are the 3 executive producers. So from the idea of the app, we have been developing the actual app itself with the app developers, deciding what should go at the very top of the app. What should the circles look like? What should each person's channel look like? There's so much on just the app and the layout of the app. And of course, Great American Family, the executives there have had a big hand in it as well. But it's really coming up with, first of all, what does the app look like? How do we make it user friendly?
Mm-hmm.
Because, if you log into an app and you can't understand it or where anything is, so it was very important that everything was super user friendly.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is that the 3 of us oversee all content.
Mm-hmm.
So every piece of content that is on the app, from a craft to cooking to home decor to an inspirational story to Father Randy talking about scripture, all of that we plan each day. So as we are dropping 5 videos 7 days a week, so 35 videos per week, we are putting everything in very specific areas. So on Monday, there's going to be different content than Tuesday. And on each day, we want to make sure that we don't have 3 people making the same things, but that there's different things for everybody. So for example, we'll have a cookie recipe. And then with that, we'll have an inspirational story. And with that, we'll have Larissa do an animal adoption. We really try to make each day's drop filled with extensive different content.
So you're curating the content over the entire app with the 16 different content creators.
Yes, exactly.
So I do have to ask this. Do you find it much easier to deal or to manage the people who are stars versus the people who are sort of new at this game and need a little more oversight? I mean, do they sort of just flow with it like real easy?
No, I think that, this is something new that we're creating. Everybody has social media, and this is supposed to somewhat mimic that. So the segments are anywhere between 1.5 minutes to 7 minutes, nothing longer than that. It's really short form content. But with each person, I get on the phone, as I have with you, and I brainstorm.
Yeah.
What should we talk about? What should we do? Well, Christmas is coming up, so why don't we do a Christmas segment? Well, before that, we have Thanksgiving. What are your Thanksgiving traditions? So I literally get on the phone with each person. There's actually 17 community members in 16 series because they're sisters for the bundle. Yeah, Cassie and Jax.
That's right.
So I feel like everyone is doing a phenomenal job. It's so fun to see the creativity and also how different everybody is. Everyone really has their own lane. So thankfully we don't run into this where everyone's trying to create the same content. We have Emily Hutchinson, who is a phenomenal baker, cookie decorator. We have you are so relatable, so likable, and you will show people how to create something fantastic from what you just get from Trader Joe's.
Mhm.
So we have everybody that really has a special skill and an expertise in their own lane. We have Shirley Bobshad that knows everything about landscape and gardening.
Mhm.
So that's something really exciting about the app. It's kind of like a one-stop shop.
Right, right. So what is the most exciting thing that you see for this app as we move forward? Because I know y'all's wheels are always turning. Y'all are all so talented. You know, you, Tracy, Michael, Jenny. What can those of us who already love the app expect that's not quite ready, but that is really going to be cool?
Well, what I think is really cool is the communication aspect that we're going to build out more. Right now, you can comment, but the comment section is going to be so much more interactive. You'll be able to comment back specifically to someone and have a direct conversation with them. We're going to also make a feature where if someone, for example, their rose garden isn't blossoming, they can send a photo directly to Shirley. Shirley, what am I doing wrong? Or Jamie, I made your pot roast, but it didn't come out right. Here's a picture of it. What do you think I'm doing wrong? So we could really form into more of a community.
That's wonderful. I'm so excited because I love everything that I've done so far, but connecting even deeper is so exciting. Well, Laura, let's just start at the beginning. You were born and raised in Los Angeles. Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
So was it just natural that you decided to get into the television industry, or how did that happen?
So I grew up in Calabasas, California, where now it's infamous for Justin Bieber, Britney Spears, and the Kardashians. But when I
Mhm.
grew up there, it wasn't. But there were a lot of famous people. So
Mhm.
my best friend's dad is Howie Mandel. And so growing up, I was at Howie Mandel's house every weekend, and I was like, wow, everywhere we went out, everyone knew who he was. Their house was insane. She had a water slide. They lived in a very exclusive private neighborhood. So I always thought from a young age, wow, I want to be on television. I want people to know who I am. So when I was about 7, I got an agent. I started taking acting classes, and I, did commercials, did different TV movies, and I realized, wow, I am missing out on so much. I'm missing the talent shows. I'm missing my friends' birthdays. I feel like all I do is shuffle around from audition to acting class to audition to acting class.
Mhm.
And I said, this is not what I want. Left that whole aspect of my life.
How old were you when you stopped?
Probably 12. So I did for like 4 years.
So you had a good stint of being a child
A
actress.
child actress.
Yeah.
And then from there, I really concentrated on school, went to Loyola, LMU, Loyola Marymount here in LA. I was a psych and business major. I thought I was going to go get my PsyD and either do research or become a therapist. And then my best friend, Larissa Wall, who is part of the community as well, Giving and Caring is her series. We were in line at Starbucks. We had just graduated college. I think it was 4 days after graduation. We were at Starbucks. Tom Bergeron was in line. Tom Bergeron, host of Dancing with the Stars, was in line right in front of Larissa. And Larissa said to him, "Oh my God, I love you. I just graduated college. I want to be a host. Can you help me?" He said, "Sure. Why don't you and your friend come to Dancing with the Stars tonight? Be my special guest."
Oh my
So
goodness.
we went. Before he met with us, he kind of gave us little pointers, knowing that we were, fresh out of college, didn't know what we were doing. He said, after the show, stay, go to the red carpet and introduce yourself to everybody there. So we did, and there was a producer from ET, Entertainment Tonight. I went up to him. I said, "I just graduated college. I really want to be a producer. I'm not sure what it entails, but could you help me get a job?" And he did. And I started working at Entertainment Tonight a week later. I was a PA working nights in the vaults, Sundays through Thursdays. Literally got to work at 3 p.m., didn't leave till midnight.
Oh my goodness.
Paid my dues and worked my way up the ladder.
Okay, so PA, you mean a producer's assistant?
Yeah, production assistant. I wasn't even a producer's assistant yet. I mean, literally the most entry level job, making minimum wage. And my parents were like, "You just went to college. We spent all this money. I turned down other job offers, making, getting benefits, everything, to work at Entertainment Tonight.
So what is involved in the life of what is the skill set of a producer, or what do you do day to day?
Oh my gosh, what do I do day to day? It really depends what production you're on. When I was producing lifestyle content at Home and Family, which I was the co-executive producer there for 9 years with Tracy Verna, she was the executive producer, and Michael Hinckley.
And Home and Family, to clarify, that is the Hallmark. That was a part of the Hallmark.
That was our previous, that's where we came from. So now being an executive producer at Great American Community, really the day-to-day is kind of similar, except I'm not in studio. So I meet with all the talent. I go through their segments with them, their episodes with them, come up with great content, make sure everything looks good. As we're getting content sent to us, I look it over, I review. I'm in tons and tons and tons of meetings. Our meetings start at 7:30 in the morning, where we meet with our app developers to just go over, check in. From there, I'm in back-to-back meetings normally. But it's really important for me as a producer to just be on the pulse of what is hot right now. What content do people want to see? There's so much content out there, whether it's via Netflix, whether it's, basic cable, whether it's Instagram, TikTok. My job is to help the talent make great content so people want to come to community. So right now, what is trending? Well, we know butter boards, for example, are trending. So, I message you and I say, Jamie, let's make a butter board. Let's do this. It's really being on top of all aspects of creative, if that answers your question.
Yes. And so the ladder that led you to where you are. Okay. So you started out in the trenches at Entertainment Tonight. So how did that progression go that got you to where you are today?
So from being a production assistant, Lara Spencer, she is now on Good Morning America. Lara Spencer was the host of The Insider, which was Entertainment Tonight's sister show. Her assistant quit last minute and they needed someone to be her assistant. Wow. So they were like, Laura, you seem smart. You seem competent. Why don't you, see if it's a good match? I was Lara's assistant for 2 years, traveled all over with her, went to some of the most exclusive events. I mean, there was one time we were in New York and we were in Donald Trump's boardroom, just having conversations with Donald Trump. I mean, there was so much stuff, being on the sets of Pirates of the Caribbean when they were filming it. There was really amazing things that I was able to do with Lara. From working with Lara, I then worked with an amazing senior producer. Her name is Bonnie Teagle. She taught me everything that I know. Really took me under her wing, taught me how to be a producer. From there, I became a field producer at Entertainment Tonight. And Mark Steinis, who was the original host of Home and Family, was leaving Entertainment Tonight. Said, Laura, I love working with you. You're always so on top of it. What do you think about leaving Entertainment Tonight and coming with me to this new show on Hallmark? I was nervous. I was like, how do I leave a show that's been on the air for 25 years? At this point, I think they're now on the air for 35 years. This was 10 years ago. How do I leave a show that's been on the air for 25 years to go to a brand new show? And I went to one of my mentors, and one of my mentors said, Laura, you are not a person that's just okay being in the middle. You want to be an executive. You want to be an EP. You want to grow. And in order to do that, you're going to have to leave Entertainment Tonight. You can always come back at some point, but you're going to need to leave Entertainment Tonight, grow, because that's what executives do. So I did it.
Right. So how long were you in that position?
With
Home and Family.
I was at Home and Family for 9 years.
For 9 years.
So I started the show with a very, very small group of producers. Mark Steinis, as I said, was the host then. I was a producer there. Then I became a senior producer. From a senior producer, I was executive producer of talent. So I oversaw all talent that came onto the 2-hour lifestyle show. From there, I became co-executive producer.
Okay. Can you, for those of us who aren't that savvy and understanding all the different roles, how does a producer work with a director? Do y'all have to work hand in hand because you're sort of curating what the actors or actresses do, but then they're actually.
So it depends. I get this question a lot, but it really depends what kind of show you are doing. So I do unscripted television. So I cannot speak to scripted television and how directors and EPs work unscripted. However, in unscripted, how it was is being the co-executive producer, we had a booth at Home and Family. So as you've seen behind the scenes on different movies, you have a bunch of different TV screens. And your producer, your director and your AD are in the first row. In the second row, you have your executive producer. So when I was executive producing the show, I would have a headset, which I would talk to the hosts, which were Debbie and Cameron. I would give them notes. We were live. So I would be in their ear discussing with them, okay, move to the next question. Ooh, you know what? Ask this follow-up question. We need to wrap, whatever it is. I would communicate with them. The executive producer is making sure we're getting the different camera angles. So that as Cameron's asking a question, we don't have the camera on the guest, we have the camera on Cameron. So that was really for us what the executive producer did compared to what the director did. There were certain times that if we were doing a cooking segment, I would be saying to the director, get the beauty shot now. No, don't go to them cutting. They aren't going to cut the cake yet. You're missing the shot of them beating the eggs. So it's like a dance you want to do because you want to make sure that the viewer is really seeing what's going on. It's a story that we're telling the viewer.
But to be, that's such a dynamic. You've got to be thinking ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
That requires a lot of talent. So so that's unscripted TV as opposed to what?
Scripted TV, which would be a movie. So I don't work in scripted, so I couldn't tell you really what executive producer compared to a director does on a Great American Family movie, because that's not my forte.
Okay, so that's just a clear delineation. You either have a preference for one or the other.
Exactly. You usually don't meet people that do both, except I did just finish a movie script. Over COVID, I decided that I wanted to kind of put my hands in different areas. So I wrote a movie script with Larissa, who obviously and my other girlfriend, Amy, who's a published book writer. So that we've kind of crossed over, but usually people stay in either scripted or unscripted.
Well, I have to ask you, do you encounter people who they know what you do, they know you're in the entertainment industry, and did they say, hey, can you make me famous? Can I read a script for you? Do you get a lot of that? And if so, how do you handle it?
So if I had $1 for each person, I'd be extremely rich, because I get it on both ends. Because being on a reality show, I get certain things. I get hit up all the time. People saying, hey, I want to be on Survivor. I want to be on Big Brother. I want to be on The Amazing Race. Can you help me with my audition video? All the time. That's number one. Number two is that when people hear that I'm an executive producer constantly, there's a guy in yoga class. I go to hot yoga with weights and you're sweating. At the end of the class, I don't want to talk to anybody. This guy comes up to me and he's like, yeah, so I heard you work in the entertainment business. Could you make me famous?
Oh my
And I was like, well, what do you do now? I work in insurance.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so have you ever acted? No. Do you have an agent or a manager? No, but people tell me I have a really good personality and I should be famous.
Oh my goodness. So
have you all the time?
Yeah. Have you ever had anyone come to you that you saw, this one might be a good one and have helped propel them?
Oh, 100%. It's not only that. I've scouted people, like, for example, Emily Hutchinson, who's part of Great American Community. I found her on Instagram years ago. She came up as a suggested post. I watched her. I thought she was amazing, brought her on to be a guest onto Home and Family. And from there, her career's propelled. One of my good friends wanted to be on Survivor. I did his audition video. He was on last season of Survivor, got final 3. So there are certain people that, and I always say to everybody, there's no harm in asking. I would not be where I am if I didn't ask people for help. If I didn't go up to the Entertainment Tonight producer and say, hi, I just graduated college. Can you help me get a job?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am. So I'm not trying to ever deter anyone. I think that you should ask people. The worst thing that they could say is no, but at least be a little prepared with what your ask is. Don't be someone that sells insurance and never acted a day in your life and ask someone to make you famous.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's talk about your time with the Amazing Race.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? And tell us about your journey there. That is fascinating.
So it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to condense it down. But basically, when I worked at ET Entertainment Tonight, I was working with Lara Spencer, as I said, and my best friend, Jen, was working with Samantha Harris. They both were the hosts of The Insider. And I said to her, I think we should try out for The Amazing Race as celebrity assistants. We made an amazing audition video. I'm out in Santa Monica at a bar, and a woman comes up to me and says, would you want to be on Survivor? So no way. She's like, please, you would be perfect. I'm casting a season. No, there's no way I'm going to be on Survivor. She hands me her card, and on the back it says The Amazing Race. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just submitted a video. She goes, oh, I also cast for The Amazing Race. Sent her the video. They love us, but they picked professional volleyball players over us. But the main casting director called me and said, I really want you for Survivor. So I can't share too much of the casting process because you literally sign away your life that you will not share.
Yeah.
But basically part of it is you go to a hotel and you stay at a hotel for a week and you are interviewed, basically hazed by production, by casting. So I go in to meet with Jeff Probst and Mark Burnett. Jeff Probst, the host of Survivor, as well as Mark Burnett, who's the executive producer. And they asked me what I do. And I said, oh, I work for Lara Spencer. And they're like, wait, you work for CBS. This is a CBS show. They kicked me out.
Oh.
So that's how like the first whole process starts. 4 years later, when I'm at Hallmark, Phil Kogan, who is the host of The Amazing Race, I book him as a guest on the show. I accost him. I say, listen, I'm going to be on The Amazing Race one day and I'm going to win. And he's, polite and like, yeah, that's what everybody says. Just keep trying,
Yeah.
A year later, I'm at a bar, a different bar in Santa Monica. The main casting director walks in and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get her attention. So I start laughing, giggling. She walks over to me and she says, would you ever consider being on The Amazing Race? I said, yes, Lynn, I met with you before for Survivor. She goes, I have no idea why I didn't pick you. Went through the casting for The Amazing Race, called out Phil and how I met him at Home and Family, and ended up on the show.
Oh my, now tell us about, I know there was so much involved, but just give us a glimpse of what it is like to be on The Amazing Race.
Wow. Well, my season was a special season because I was set up on the most extreme blind date. It's not ideal for me and my personality, but I knew that it was the only way I was going to get on the show. To basically be cast with a partner, you have to have an incredible story. You need to be husband and wife. You need to be father and daughter. You need to be like a cancer survivor. They're very, very, very picky. So I knew that this was my one shot. So I'll race around the world with some complete random stranger, which I did. So that was an added pressure that was on me, not only being videotaped 24 hours a day and never having any privacy, but also running the race with someone that I literally ran up and met on camera.
And how long were y'all together and how did that go? What was the dynamic between y'all?
Thankfully, he's amazing. Such a nice guy from the very beginning. So on our flight from LA to Tokyo was our first stop. We just started talking. I said, listen, I actually was starting to kind of date someone before I left for the race. It wasn't serious, but I worked for Hallmark Channel. I didn't go on The Bachelor. I didn't want this to be about love. I wanted it to be about the race. I wanted to win the race. So Tyler, that's my partner's name. He and I had a conversation and just said, listen, we both live in LA. Why don't we run the race, have fun? If we fall in love during the race, great, but let's not put pressure on it. Let's win this thing. And that's what we did. Because all the other couples that tried to have romance, they combusted. basically the guy liked the girl more or the girl liked the guy more, and then they would start to argue. So we just knew that if we just organically let things happen and didn't put pressure on it, we would succeed.
So was it awkward the entire time, or was it just flowed because there were no expectations?
It wasn't awkward at all. It was actually great. We had our own hotel rooms each leg of the race, but he would come over and like we would eat dinner together. It was actually funny. So our first hotel room was this weird anime place. It wasn't even a hotel room. It was a chair and a nasty couch. So I originally was thinking like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be staying at nice hotels. When we got to Thailand, we stayed at this gorgeous hotel. So that first hotel that we stayed at, I remember I got out of the shower, my hair's, I'm wearing a robe, my hair's like all up, I don't look cute at all, and there's a knock on my door, and I think it's room service, and it's him. And he brought over his food. He's like, yeah, I thought we would eat dinner together and get to know each other. And it's interesting because it's basically, there is no first date. It goes from 0 to 100. So like normally when you would want to be presentable for someone, I was like, okay, let's just be friends and see where this goes.
Well, Laura, tell us how it ended.
So I came back from the race. I continued to date the guy that I had previously dated. We dated until May when the race finally, the finale aired. Tyler and I had a little song and dance that we did after that for a couple of months. Nice guy, but honestly, he was too immature for me.
So, but how do you what do you attribute the fact that you won?
Oh my gosh.
And now for those, I'm not sure we clarified, this is season 26. So, okay, but how did that happen?
So I think that it was that we were always positive and supportive with each other. That this is before manifestation was manifestation. And I feel like I manifested this. No matter what the challenge was, there was never a thought in my mind we were ever going to be eliminated. And it's not because challenges were easy. It's not because we didn't run into numerous roadblocks. Like, for example, we lost our passports in Germany. But I knew, even when we lost our passports, that we were going to be okay. There was never a negative thought that came into my mind. And even at the very end of the race, our finale is amazing. Even if you don't want to go back and watch the whole season, the finale is so incredible because we had no idea we were in first place until literally we were running up to see Phil. I thought we were in second place the whole entire time. So even then I was like, okay, listen, we made it to the finale of the race. Second place isn't ideal, but we did it. And I did it with a complete stranger. And then when we found out that we actually won, I mean, it was incredible.
So what does winning the amazing race, what did that do for your career?
What's interesting is that even when I thought we were in second place, I thought to myself, like, okay, this is a great accomplishment. And I hate to say this because I never want to discredit anybody in second place, but being first place, it's obviously the number one place to be. No one remembers really anybody else but first place.
Yeah.
And it brings you into a very elite circle of people. And so in the CBS family, it's Big Brother, Amazing Race, and Survivor. So we all do events together, and being part of that elite winner circle, it puts you somewhere else.
In a different league.
It does. And again, I'm not discrediting it. I think just getting on the show itself is a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. But when, the first question anybody ever asks, and they almost ask it kind of like, well, they're like, oh, so how did you do? And it's like, oh, no, I won. And then you get like, oh, well, wait, you won? Like, how did you win? How did you do that?
Okay, well, now, and for those who aren't watching on YouTube, I will just make it known, you are probably one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. So I know you've had opportunity, and you're as beautiful on the inside as far as I've known you, you are just fabulous. But I know you've probably had the opportunity to be on things like Bachelor or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
So years ago, I mean, this had to be like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, after a breakup with one of my exes, a girlfriend behind my back submitted me
Oh,
to The Bachelorette. So I get a call from this casting director and she's like, yeah, we got your application that you put in. I'm like, no, I didn't put in an application to be on the show. One of my best friends was like, isn't that great? During the casting process, I knew that was not the show for me. They literally want you to behave crazy. And I don't want to be anybody else other than me. Not saying because like I love who I am, but I want to always be authentically me, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. And with those shows, it's not my thing. I think you get a great following and people fall in love with people's love stories, but I think it can also be a really tricky place that I've heard other people say it's really hurt their reputation. It's hurt their dating career. I mean, their dating life. It's just that's just not for me.
Not for you. Well, where can we expect to see you go? I know you will continue helping build the great American community, but what are other aspirations that you have? Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
Oh my gosh, where would I like to see myself in 10 years? So I feel like I've put my dating life in the back seat. I've had, long-term relationships, but, right now I'm single and I know I need to put myself back out there. I took a 90-day break from dating just because I don't have any time. So I think like the main thing for me is that I need to really put some time and energy into finding my person. So I guess in 10 years, I would just want to be happily married. There, as I manifested the race there, I want to live in Hidden Hills. It's this place in Calabasas that I absolutely love. And ever since I was a little kid, I've always said I wanted to live there. And so I would probably say in Hidden Hills with my husband and just, happy producing and creating.
Children?
Oh yeah, I want children.
Well, of course, I follow you on Instagram. You are a delight. Everyone follow Laura on Instagram. It's LP Bunny. You're just good you're just so multifaceted. You were visiting your sweet nephew. Was it in Iowa?
Idaho.
Okay. I get those two mixed up.
Yeah.
You have such a way with children. You can converse and get on anyone's level. From how old is that angel? He's so precious.
4. He's so funny and so cute because my brother and I are so different. And my nephew is like the sweetest, kindest little lover. I'm like, where did you come from? And he's so funny.
Oh, he is. And then I just saw how you interacted with the day he had the birthday party, you were the star of the show. And
thank you.
I just think it's wonderful. Well, I am just so grateful that you shared a little bit of your world and your life. And is there anything that you would like to share maybe that we haven't touched? I would love to know. I know you have some organizations that are near and dear to your heart. Could you just share those with us, how you reach out?
I do. 2 are Project Angel Food, which is based here in Los Angeles. I volunteer every Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving, they had me as their red carpet correspondent. So it was so fun. I was interacting with all their celebrity guests. And then we make meals and deliver them to people that are sickly or unable to go out. And I mean, they deliver thousands of meals around Los Angeles. So that's a phenomenal nonprofit that I love being a part of. The other one is called Give Kids the World, and it's through Hearts of Reality. So once a year, a bunch of us reality personalities, we fly down to Florida for Hearts of Reality, and we go to Give Kids the World. Give Kids the World is a magical wonderland for children that are terminally ill.
Okay, I was very intrigued by this, and I wondered, is that connected in some way? Where do you take these sweet children? Is Disney part of that?
Yeah, so basically Give Kids the World, they stay there for a week. So it's a hotel. There's a property there where the kids can have ice cream for breakfast. There's a pizza parlor and everything's paid for. So the whole family goes, they stay there for a week. And when they stay there for the week, they go to Disney World, they go to Universal, they go all around. Everything is completely paid for. So through Hearts of Reality, which is the organization I work with, we have raised over $1 million for these families and for people to go. And I can also, Jamie, I can send you my fundraising page if anyone wants to donate, whether it's $10 or whatever, you know, 500, whatever anybody wants to donate. But it's really a phenomenal organization because we interact with these children. And what's so amazing is we aren't allowed, you know, they say, be careful, don't hug them, don't touch them. If they hug you, that's fine. But a lot of them, you can't because they have ports for cancer treatments, for chemo. They have tubes because they are so sickly. This is really the last chance for the families to have a trip together. But the one thing that is also amazing about it is that kids have gone there literally with a, you know, couple weeks left to live, and they've made a complete turnaround.
Oh my goodness. What is the age and how do you find the children that are?
So that's all through Give Kids the World. I believe that what happens is the parents, the families, the doctors contact Give Kids the World. They set everything up, but I don't know. I believe it's 18 and under, but you know, I've met some people. There's one girl that goes every year and speaks. She was 8 years old and she terminal cancer. She is still alive. She's 24. She's gorgeous. She is thriving. Yeah, it's incredible. And she just said, you know, like there are kids that show up to Give Kids the World and they're in wheelchairs. And by the end, they're walking. I think it changes their mind. It gives them a new sense of life. It's really, really an incredible organization and charity, and what they do for children. You know, no child should ever be sick. And to see these children and to see that so many of them are still so happy, even though they're, so it's an organization that I'm very, very, very proud to be a part of.
Well, I will definitely get the links from you for anyone who wants to help with that. And Laura, thank you. You are just a jewel. And I'm so glad that you're part of my world and I'm able to connect with you. And everyone watching or listening, I'll have all of the links to get in touch with Laura, to follow her on social media, connect with Hearts of Reality. And Laura, thank you so, so much. And I hope you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. I just have to say how much I love working with you. You are a true professional and such a collaborator. And I love all your content. I mean, you have something for everybody. I love all your recipes and I love following you on Instagram as well.
Well, you are so kind and the feeling is mutual. And I will be talking with you soon. And thank you. And Laura, you have a fabulous day.
Thank you. You too.